Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how your strength is unmatched. They cannot fathom how you've made it through the obstacles you made it through. It's hard for them to process how you was able to reverse a lot of these spells that they put on top of you, and how you was able to push through a lot of these spells that you knew were being casted on you, and you still managed to get through the process. I used to think this was difficult when I first started processing and understanding what's actually going on and what's happening out here. But once you actually come to wits and understanding that it's only two teams out here, you're either moving with God and the Creator, or you moving with this demonic team or with the system. Some people don't want to call it demonic. Well, I just call it the system. Whichever title flows better for you. But we all know that the system wants us to be emotionless, and they want us to be extremely disconnected and robotic. When you start understanding like how much work they put in to beat us down, to beat you down, and how you constantly fought through and got up from every single obstacle that came your way. It's like, to a degree, because I do believe we take on any kind of animal or insect characteristics, I do believe we can take those on. But it's almost like you was like that ant that got stepped on and it just did not faze you whatsoever. And then they kept trying to step on you, but it wasn't bothering you the way that they thought it would bother you. You may get stuck on the shoe for a second, but it didn't break you. You know, you may have went in between the crevices of, you know, the bottom of the shoe design, but it didn't faze you the same way. Yes, it may have made a little contact, but it didn't stop your walk of life. See, a lot of our strength always came from the Creator and Source, which is why they were unable to touch it or to tap into it. See, for them, their strength comes, them, the opposition. That's what I'm speaking of. Their strength comes from them, quote unquote, doing things accordingly to the opposite of the Creator. So for them, they like to see and reap their rewards a lot faster. Us, we don't mind waiting it out and being patient, even though a lot of us can tell people we're impatient or working on our patience. Y'all gotta understand that we have a lot more patience than most beings out here. You know, not saying the opposition not patient, because they will wait and lay and lurk on you like a lion and its prey. You know, they're looking for the right time to sneak up and to come at you and to come get you. So understanding these things, right? Your strength never had anything to do with, you know, your physical vessel. I'm gonna let this pass. This whole city that I'm in right now, it feels like anywhere you go, it's airport direction, so it's not like they intentionally doing this shit. It's just anywhere you go film at, outside or you're outside, anywhere. In this area where I'm located at, it's always planes going every single which way, you know. But anyways, a lot of your strength couldn't be tapped into or touched by them. And a lot of us didn't really quite understand why we had so much fight in us, why we was never a quitter or a giver-upper. And you can look at a lot of things that you went through in life, whether you was like playing games with friends or challenges or whatever you were doing around that space, that showed that you was not a quitter, you was not gonna give up, and you was gonna play fairly and win. We play fairly and win. I've always been one of them people, even growing up, I can tell you what I'm about to do, but it's still your job to stop me. So basketball, I could be like, yo, I'm about to cross over, I'm about to hit these moves right here, then I'm gonna hit a step back, I'm gonna shoot the jumper on you. You still have to stop me even if I tell you what I'm gonna do. No different than when I was younger, we used to play the video games. I'd tell my brothers or my cousins or my friends, like, yo, I'm about to hit you with this combo right here. I'm going to do it. It's your job, it's their job to stop me. So I know a lot of people feel like, oh, well, I shouldn't tell them, what I'm going to do. Yeah, necessarily not all the time, but when you know you're great and you're good at what you do, that doesn't make a difference. They still have to stop you, which most of them always fail, And our strength, what people get mixed up sometimes is they get strength and survival mixed up. So a lot of people be like, yeah, well, I was strong enough to, to get a job, to pay these bills, to take care of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not real strength. That's survival, because we even got demons in the other side of the opposition that does the exact same thing. And when you are raised in this society, most of us understand that most parents say they only got 3 jobs to do, 3 things to do, which is put clothes on your back, food on the table, and a roof over your head. And they feel like the mission is accomplished. It's a job well done, And that's not always the case. Those are things that do have to be done, but that's more so of survival in today's society right now. Because if you don't, then you will be one of those beings who are homeless or living out in nature. Homeless got such a bad connotation on it. You will be part of that crowd that has to live off the land again, which is good. It's great. It's just in today's society, most of the land has been monetized by the system. So they're gonna tax you. They're gonna try to fine you. They're gonna try to get you off the space. It's always gonna be something in the woodworks. But doing the basic necessities isn't the strength. It's how you push through to get through to the other side. It's what's giving you your strength. So yes, you are doing the mandatory necessity things, but it's what's happening around you and to you while you're in the middle of doing those things. It's how you felt like there was no light at the end of the tunnel, but you always was optimistic. You wasn't pessimistic. Your cup was always half full. It was never half empty. It's a lot of things that led into place that always kept your heart beating, that always kept you breathing, that kept your blood flowing. These are the things that you would kind of connect into your strength. Your strength, you also notice that when you are in a downward space or in not the best space, it's always picking you up. It never allows you to sit in a lower spiritual state for a very long time. You will witness and you will bear some of the lower vibrations of, feeling sad, down, insecure, not enough, low value, But you'll always realize it comes through like a subway. Literally like a subway. You know what I mean? You over there at the train stop, you just waiting. Here comes all those things that you didn't want, but you got to get on the train and ride it to the next stop anyways. That's where your strength is coming from. When you got oppositions going against you and your principles, morals, and values, going against the Creator's morals and values, that's where your real strength is coming from. A lot of people don't recognize this and they look past these things, but that's actually where you are pulling all of this momentum from. You have an abundance access to the Creator and this energy source because you've been walking this life. Even if you haven't been walking it, you've been processing it within here. A lot of us are stronger than what we give ourselves credit for, because you have a handful of seasons when you're down and you're not feeling the best, and you done put down all of these things in place and now you're not really reaping the fruits of them yet. Sometimes you got fruits and veggies that takes a year or two before it starts to sprout. Some of them start to sprout after a year or two, but this is the process, you know what I mean? But in today's society where we at right now, your real strength is going to show in how solid you stand with the Creator. Your real strength is where you stand at with God and Source. Your real strength is going to be how you carry out the mission. Because it doesn't have to be words. Before we had text, it was more so based on energy, vibration, and actions. You know, us actually replicating our inward outward. But it's so artificial now, a lot of beings aren't replicating their inner world outwardly. So that changes the whole dynamic. But just understanding these things, like a lot of people I notice are like trying to transition into better spaces, but they doing all kind of different tactics. But the one thing that they haven't tried to do was get closer to source. You know, you try and break a food habit, get closer to source. You trying to break a drug habit, get closer to source. You know what I mean? Like all of these things that's transpiring, people are going to the doctors, getting different medicines and trying different dieting plans and all these things. You gotta remember, like, skip the doctors. But all of the other things is part of the recipe. You need the key ingredient to the recipe in order to really get that strength that you want, and to really maximize your strength. You know, we're in the middle of a battlefield, so a lot of these things that we are going through is only going to ramp up. It's going to ramp up. You will find yourself battling people spiritually in the physical realm, and they will have more numbers against you. And even though they feel like they're compiling on top of you, you always stand solid. We would have never made it to these places and spaces spiritually where we at today if we didn't have the strength from the Creator, if we wasn't practicing and putting it into action, into works on a daily basis. It's because we face so many battles every single day, every minute. Even when we're not awake in this realm, we're still facing battles. We don't pat ourselves enough on the back for how solid you stayed in the midst of millions, gabillions of people. So if it's a gabillion people here, it's less than 50,000 of us, you know, that's still standing solid. And we're trying to rail in the followers so that way they are moving in a better light. Because some of them, everything is all our fault to a degree, right? But some of us are placed here to be followers. You know, you cannot be a leader without followers. But where we're at right now, everybody wants to be the leader in the it factor. Like I said before in some of my other videos, I followed my big brother for a good portion of my life. Like anytime I was around my big brother, what he says goes. I'm like the ox, you know. I'm like the muscle. He was like the brain, until I realized I'm the muscle and the brain. But that used to be, quote unquote, the dynamic between us back then. And I had no problem because I trusted my brother with everything in me. Which all actuality, I was trusting source and the Creator, and it was putting me in a position to be the best follower so I can understand what it means to be a great leader. And I'm still working those steps out now, but a lot of people try to skip those steps, you know. But that's where you build in strength from. Most people don't move up into rankings in different places without understanding the other levels that's there. You have to understand the other levels that's there. And for a lot of us, because we haven't took the time to dive in deep, you don't realize how many levels you've went through, how many tests that you've actually passed while you're even in the space that you're in right now. That's what I be saying, like, we don't give ourselves enough credit because there's so many obstacles. It seems like every time you get ready to enjoy yourself, it's something else that's taking place that's forcing you to put your energy somewhere else, and now you're not able to just kind of relax, woosah, enjoy whatever accomplishment that you just had. We will never get thrown off balance from source because we understand that we not always gonna be here and we all gotta go. That is more powerful than these other beings who hanging on to everything in them, who's like the Egyptians. It's basically the new age Egyptian culture. People are trying to bury themselves with all of their material items. You go out and you get the fanciest casket to put somebody in the ground 6 feet deep when you don't even know why they're going 6 feet. Because clearly when they show in movies, or if you ever been to a cemetery, when they're pulling these things up, they still have been, all the value in whatever you just put into the casket and all these things is null and void. You know what I mean? I told my mini, because she's 8 and anything could happen to me. Like, if anything ever happens to daddy, you know, they better burn me, cremate me, put me back out into the universe, put this vessel back out into the universe, because my spirit is gone. I don't need people out here wasting time and energy trying to collectivize and get the best casket to do all these things. Like, I'm already on to my next journey. If that y'all gotta figure out a way to celebrate me on my way out, then cool, y'all do what y'all do. But I want you to minimize the resources that you have to use in order to wish me farewell, because I'm already gone. So now the cemeteries, all of these rituals is just a farewell ritual. It's literally all it is. And understanding these things, man, it takes your strength and your courage, your bravery a long way. It takes it an extremely long way. And of course, we always gonna get backlash because we always saying things that don't feel good to people, because a lot of people are not connected with source. So if you say something to men about, being more masculine or doing things more manly, they want to get offended. You say something about women and you're a man, then some of them be like, hey, you don't have a right to talk about women. It's like, we talk about fish and we're not a fish. I talk about a squirrel and I'm not a squirrel. Like, if I've experienced it, then I have the right to do that, And it don't be with ill intentions. It's just when things set in that people don't like because it resonates with them, it hits harder. Because I know for a fact, because I've been learning throughout my life, and when people say things or I hear things that resonate, it hurts a little bit. I'm a man, so I could take a punch, I could take a blow, I could take a shot, I could take a stabbing. I'm built for tough, so I don't mind doing those things, you know what I mean? But I just understand that my real strength comes from the faith that I keep. My real strength comes from my walk of life. My real strength comes from my principles and values that's connected with source and not just scrambled mumble jumble. It's a lot of people out here that's watching all of this information and content and they still are not applying it. They still aren't applying it. You have to apply the information or else it does no good. You're still on the witchy side of the playbook. You're trying to figure out ways to get this information and then dance around what's actually going on. And that's what a lot of people are doing. One, because a lot of people are concerned with self on a demonic scale, even though we concerned with self, but we do it more righteously, more godly. It's a big difference. It's a huge difference, and I'm not even going to get into that right now. But understanding these things, it's going to help you be able to breathe a lot easier. It's going to be able to help you to just slow your processor down when things get too busy or it gets too chaotic and scramble. Because when things start compiling, it becomes heavy. Then you just want to start taking things off your plate. You want to start taking shit out your backpack because you're like, yo, I'm starting to get weighed down. We still got a few more miles to hike. I want to lose some of this weight right here, so that way you can make things move a little bit smoother. And our strength, once you understand and you walk in this way of life, you actually can pass it down like a baton. You can pass this strength down like a baton. I know and I see it on a daily basis, Even if it's not with the people that's our age, it's the younger generations that's more susceptible to it. When I go into my daughter's school, I've been going in there for 2 years straight now. All the little kids that's in her grade or that's under, when I go in at lunch, hey mister, I don't tell them my name or anything. They know that's Lexi's dad, Lexi's dad, Lexi dad. They all start doing the peace sign. This is together, this is unity, this is part, this is separation. This feels more awkward and more not together. This feels better, I'm stronger, I can hold things more with these two fingers opposed from this one finger, or these fingers like doing this little weird dinosaur thing, And once it's like, it just makes such a big difference when you see how the strength is being passed down. I had one of the students that was at the school. She was like yellow, looked like probably both her parents was probably like high yellow, light skin, just texture tone. And she kept coming in, and when she sit down, I might be at the table before my daughter get there, and she like, I'm black. And I'm just looking at her like, first couple of times I just let her say it. I'm talking about in one setting, not the whole passing back a couple of times, because I'm one of them people. if your children around me, I'm gonna plant some seeds, some healthy seeds, because we don't know what's being planted around here, but I know that I got some healthy seeds I could drop over there. She like, I'm black. My mom said I'm black. Well, you're brown. You're not black. What the color of your pants are black. You're not black. You're brown. We just have different shades and different tones. And after doing that with her a couple times, like about 3-4 days, when I came back to school the following week, she was like, I'm brown, but black is the same thing. And I was like, that means you must have went home, talked to your mom. Somebody, you had said that, oh, one of the kids' dads was telling me that I'm not black, I'm brown. And then the mom had to reteach her that, okay, you're not black like this here. And really, when I look at my hair close up, it's really dark brown. It's not black. It's just a really dark shade of brown. It replanted and implemented something that, so she don't have to be in first grade being confused like the rest of us was, understanding that, okay, why they keep calling me black and I'm not black? And the Caucasian, like, why they keep calling me white and I'm not white? You know, you hold up a piece of paper, you're like, damn, this ain't my color. We looking down at our clothes that's black, we like, damn, that's not my color. It's small, but these are little things that help build strength within people, you know. And these are kind of like the real life steps that I take on a day-to-day basis outside of just giving knowledge and information here. I walk this life in real life too. I'm not one of these people who get up here and just like, oh yeah, I'm not the same person that, you know, I'm on camera, that I'm off camera. No, motherfucker, I'm me. I'm the same person right here communicating, same person that's going to be behind the scenes. And everybody that has engaged with me or knew me before knows that this is how I vibrate. This is what time it is. This is what we doing. We are making stronger warriors. We are bringing more awareness. We are bringing more enlightenment, you know. And the ones who aren't strong, we're giving them strength. We are giving them strength. I will give away as much strength as I possibly can. You know why? Because I can recharge it. If you ever feel like you gave away too much strength, you can always recharge. You know what I mean? But I ain't want to run it up too long. You know, we know where we getting our real strength from, the source and the creator. You know what I mean? But tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.